A history-making night in Georgia as Democrat Reverend Raphael Warnock wins the U.S. Senate seat, becoming the first black senator elected in our state. At 2 a.m., the race was called for Warnock over Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler, up about 50,000 votes right now. Think about it. That's 4 times the number of votes President-elect Biden won Georgia. The momentum came about midnight, and he maintains that lead. We've seen significant changes in the last hours in the race between incumbent GOP Senator David Perdue and Democratic challenger Jon Ossoff. Still technically too close to call. Just before 2 a.m., though, Ossoff closed the gap. By 3:30, he expanded his lead to nearly 16,000. We just got new votes in from DeKalb, and that lead for Ossoff grows to 16,000. He would become the nation's youngest senator at 33 years old. Our crew is standing by with team coverage from all across the metro area as the final vote totals continue to come in. We begin with Joe Ripley, who's live in Decatur with more on Reverend Warnock's historic win. Joe?
Good morning. Although there still is some counting to do here, some finishing up of the tabulation here in DeKalb County, it is projected that Reverend Raphael Warnock has defeated Kelly Loeffler, incumbent senator here in Georgia, becoming Georgia's first elected black U.S. senator. A little bit about the Reverend. He's pastored Ebenezer Baptist Church, the historic church, for about 15 years. That church made famous, of course, by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Besides the millions poured into political ads, Warnock also getting a big boost in this race from high-profile visits here to the Peach State. President-elect Biden holding a rally in Atlanta the day before the runoff. He also had Vice President-elect Kamala Harris campaigning frequently here in Georgia, leading into the runoff. Kelly Loeffler did not concede last night, but she said every vote must be counted. Warnock calling his historic journey improbable, but he promised to fight for Georgians every day in the Senate.
Every legal vote will be counted, and I'm not going to stop working.
We were told that we couldn't win this election, but tonight we prove that with hope, hard work, and the people by our side, anything is possible.
Around 2 o'clock this morning, DeKalb County elections officials said they still had about 19,000 more votes to count, and they had to be done so manually because of a technical issue. We're still working to find out what exactly went wrong on that machine end, but I can tell you that that was around 2. Counting should resume at some point today. You heard Cheryl there mention that the votes are still coming in, so still a lot to unfold here in DeKalb County. Election officials saying this final tabulation will be in compliance with state guidelines. DeKalb helped tremendously by the ability to process tens of thousands of those absentee ballots 2 weeks before Election Day. That, of course, in accordance with the new requirement by the Secretary of State's office to achieve a more timely count. With those votes still pouring in, it could mean favorable news for the Ossoff campaign. We'll have to watch and wait to see how those developments unfold.
Yeah, that's been interesting to watch that change so much, even in the last hour, Joe. Thank you so much. We're joined now by Christy Diaz, who is at the 11 Alive Bridge with a breakdown of those numbers. DeKalb has been the county to watch overnight, and not long ago, Christy, DeKalb finished up all their vote totals.
That's right. We, like Joe, we have people on the ground who were watching people walk out of the building. We asked for an update. They had one more upload as of 4 a.m. and those numbers came in about 4:15. So as of now, DeKalb County should be done. And here is where those numbers stand. Right now, Warnock, obviously that race has been called, but with those new numbers from DeKalb, let me show you what those totals are as of right now. He has now expanded his lead to 67,626 votes. Now that is statewide after we hand calculated all the votes that came in from DeKalb at 4:15 this morning. So we're still waiting for some of our numbers on this map. They lag a little bit, especially in the overnight hours. So we're doing all of this by hand too. I understand when Joe said hand tabulation. Okay, so now let's go back to the other race, because the one that is still too close to call is with Perdue and Ossoff. DeKalb, again, the big story overnight as those 4:15 votes came in. Here is the latest as it stands right now. Statewide, with these votes coming in from DeKalb, Jon Ossoff widened his lead to 16,000 370 votes. So it seems, Cheryl, at this moment that he has a pretty good lead. And according to Gabriel Sterling with the Secretary of State's office, the counties that still have left to count, which are Cobb, Gwinnett, we've still got Fulton, all of those will come back in the morning and continue tabulating what they have left. Most of those votes will be leaning Democratic. So obviously you can't call the race. You have to count everything, but it does, it's starting to look good for Jon Ossoff.
Yeah, and consider that that number is greater than the final tally for President-elect Joe Biden here in Georgia. So very interesting to see this all play out. Thanks for watching all of it for us, Christy. Our team coverage continues now with Jerry Carnes, who's live at the Georgia World Congress Center in Fulton County. Jerry, we're learning the ballot count is expected to start up again there this morning.
It's going to start up again at about 8:30 this morning. That is correct, Cheryl. President Donald Trump is already tweeting and raising questions about the 4,000 votes still left to count here in Fulton County. And of course, 4,000 votes could be critical in these very tight races. Here is some video from overnight inside the Georgia World Congress Center. Election workers stopped processing ballots at about 2 a.m. Again, they'll resume at 8:30. In addition to the in-person votes that have already been counted, Fulton County has processed about 108,000 mail-in ballots. The 4,000 yet to be processed are the absentee ballots that were placed in drop boxes on Election Day prior to the 7 p.m. deadline. Overnight, Fulton County Election Chief Richard Barron talked about the process.
We've been extremely transparent throughout the absentee ballot processing. We'd have several weeks of live streaming in an open observation area. We entered into a consent order to allow monitors to be within 10 feet of workers to view the work.
Back to that tweet from President Donald Trump. He tweeted overnight that Fulton County found 4,000 ballots. Again, according to Fulton County election officials, these were absentee ballots placed inside drop boxes around Fulton County and placed there prior to the 7 p.m. deadline. So Fulton County says nothing nefarious about these 4,000 ballots yet to be counted when counting resumes at 8:30 this morning.
And you know, Jerry, Gabriel Sterling with the Secretary of State's office at 1:30 in the morning told us the same thing, that these are false narratives and that is not true. There is no fraud in the runoff like there was no fraud in the general election. Thank you, Jerry. Like in Fulton County, Gwinnett is also expected to resume the count today. As of 2 a.m., the Secretary of State's office told us there were about 5,000 ballots still being processed. Mara Sirianni is live at the Gwinnett County Voter Registration Office in Lawrenceville. Mara, what's the plan for the morning there?
Well, Cheryl, they plan to pick back up at 8 o'clock this morning to resume counting those ballots. And really out here in Gwinnett, it's been pretty quiet. We haven't seen issues like we've seen in some other metro counties. No drama. That's the good news out here in Gwinnett. But a county spokesperson said at last check, all 96,000 absentee by mail and overseas military ballots accepted until Tuesday morning have been uploaded to the system, as well as all advanced in-person votes. And that number is about 171,000. So what will they be finishing this morning? Well, still left to count those absentee by mail ballots received on Election Day. That's yesterday, of course. Well, as we know, Gwinnett is a Democratic leading county with Ossoff favored to win. Now, we spoke with voters yesterday here in Gwinnett. They were excited. They were nervous. A lot of mixed reactions out here. But again, that vote count resumes at 8 o'clock this morning. And of course, we'll let you know exactly what happens.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to have much more on our election coverage throughout the morning for you. Also, be sure to head over to our website at 11alive.com, where we have the latest election results.